Welcome everyone. We are live at Pavilion's GTM 23 conference in Nashville, Music City, and I'm excited to guest host, I guess, this hot intro presented by Commsor. I got two fantastic individuals here, Morgan and Erich, and we're going to talk about how to win in this environment. GTM efficiency is the name of the game. We have the hot intro from content, the hot intro from enablement. How are these two amazing functions going to help sales win in this environment? Before we get going, Erich, tell them who you are.
Hello, Erich Starrett, representing Enablement. Shout out to the Global Sales Enablement Society, soon to be Revenue Enablement Society folks out there. I am the founder of OrchestrateSales.com, orchestrating the cross-functional revenue enablement engine to empower the customer-facing frontline.
Morgan,
that was so
if you've
good.
been hiding under a rock, you know who Morgan is, but Morgan.
What's going on, everybody? Morgan J. Ingram, founder of AMP. We are a B2B media production company. We do video content, event activations, and in a former life, I was a sales trainer, so did a lot of sales training for top of the funnel, Salesforce, Zoom, Snowflake. You probably heard of those companies, and I'm excited to have this conversation today with Rowan. I've known for a very long time. We just chopped it up, and I know this is going to be good.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it. Rowan, yes, that's me. I forgot to introduce myself. Product marketing, 20 years for companies as big as SAP, as well as high growth like Gong, Clary, and more recently, GTM Buddy. So let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Cool.
First, we have some lovely hot wings here.
We do.
With some hot sauce, and you guys are gonna drop the sauce on GTM efficiency.
Cool.
Content.
Let's start with the first wing. Yeah, before we answer the question. So this is the warm intro. So this is chill.
Warm intro.
It's chill.
You know a lot about warm intros.
Yeah.
This is your baby.
Yeah, this is chill.
Content.
Yeah.
The role of content as a function, the role of content, the actual assets in ensuring GTM efficiency.
I think
What's the role
there's
of
four
content?
functions. So number one is the content you have internally, which you're gonna dive into, which is enablement. You need to make sure that you have content that is ready for your reps to absorb and not too much. So in a lot of sales trainings that I did, it's like, all right, cool, we have this 50-page document on how to do a cold call. Like, bruh, what? like, who's reading that? So that content is not helpful for a newer rep, older rep, it doesn't matter. So that's content internally. Then you have content for your customers.
Yep.
So how are you getting your customers information and helping them stay on top of the market with whatever service or product that you have, right? Because if you're just giving out content to them that's like regular, stale, not innovative, they're gonna go find someone else who has that.
Yep.
So you gotta see that in. The third thing is content that comes from the organization to help them in the buyer journey before they actually buy. So that is gonna dive into a lot of things we talk about. That could be getting influencers, that could be internal evangelists, that could be executives posting on LinkedIn.
Yep.
That's where like a lot of things are happening now, where like people are starting to get into this. You gotta have someone inside of your organization and externally as well that can act as a conduit of content so people know what your brand's about, right? You gotta live in that, because I think LinkedIn said 95% of buyers are not actually ready to buy. They're not even in the motion to buy. 5% are only ready to actually buy. So what are you doing about these 95% of people that are just not there yet? You need to have some type of content from your team, other people, to get out there, right? And then four, when you think about the content here, is content you have inside of the sales cycle. What type of content are you giving the buyer to educate them along the journey? So this is different because now they're engaged, right? They want to buy. The seller is talking to them. If the seller doesn't have good content for marketing, or it may be, how are you going to educate them along the way? Because if you don't have the right content, right, they don't listen to salespeople, right? So we gotta have a credible source in the buyer journey. So those are the four pieces of content and how it plays.
The role of enablement in ensuring GTM efficiency.
Well, first of all, since Morgan so beautifully queued it up, he's already done half the work. If he's done the research and has the voice of the customer and the voice of sales already integrated, which my argument would be that's the only way you could bucketize it the way you did. I loved your categories.
Yeah.
Now it's inherent upon enablement. Back to, I already said cross-functional, right? That each of those folks is speaking with one voice internally to the first bucket,
right,
as well as externally. So here's where it gets really tricky. you've got now the customer-facing frontline. That's a phrase I've been using for a while.
Yeah.
But as I just spoke about a little bit earlier, this move from sales enablement to revenue enablement, I've asked a lot of folks, and I'm curious to hear more from our audience too. What is the difference?
Yeah.
What is it a difference in, like, when you start to unpack what the word revenue means versus the word sales? I like to zoom out a little bit from that, and it sounds like really revenue enablement is the entire customer-facing frontline.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now you're bringing in CS. Now you're bringing in those field marketing folks, right? Anyone that touches the customer.
Yeah.
My argument is that kind of should have been done all along to a
Yeah,
certain extent.
of course.
So you've got that complexity of ensuring you've got one voice of all of that content to the market.
Yeah.
And then from a second perspective, when internally you're working back and getting that message to marketing,
Yeah.
it's inherent that you and I are talking that the stuff that's coming back from sales, enablement is enabling you to shift and adjust that message. And the third thing is the client's getting more complex, right? It used to be
Yeah.
not only in they're smarter, they're getting more of that content.
Yeah.
I think it was 3 somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they might be smarter than our customer-facing frontline, and
Yeah.
we got to be careful with that. And the subset of that is, and there's 12 of them, not 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So being able to meet each of those people, enable the customer-facing frontline through those buckets to meet each of those people where they're at.
Love it. I'm going to share my take on product marketing's role in GTM efficiency whilst these two gentlemen get on to the second one, which is Cayenne cold call. Cayenne cold call.
Okay.
Get into that
Okay.
Cayenne
We'll
cold
get into
call.
it.
Well, if you've already had a warm introduction, it's not a cold call anymore, right? Okay.
Fair play.
Had to go there.
So the role of product marketing in GTM efficiency, simple. 3 steps. 3 steps. To position a company to win, which is the role of product marketing, before Morgan can create his 4 buckets of content, before Erich can actually enable his not sales team, the revenue team, product marketing needs to step up to the plate and do 3 things. W-I-N, win. W, who are you going to win with? Who is your ideal customer? Understand that you need to get focused to achieve this efficiency. Don't say you're going to cater to 8 segments when you have a team of 2 marketers and 1 content person. It's just not going to happen. So who are you going to win with? And who are you going to win against? Which competitors are you choosing to go up against? That's the who.
Yep.
The W in the I is the impact. So if you know who you're going to win with and who you're going to win against, what is the value that you're going to give your customer, this chosen segment of customer, and don't stop there. Much like you guys aren't stopping in the second bottle of hot sauce here.
Not yet.
What is the impact off that value? What is the impact off that value? So that's the I in win. And then the N, the narrative. And then with these two gentlemen can do their magic. The narrative. How are you going to tangibly take these inputs and persuade your ideal customer profile that you are differentiated and have the value and the impact that solves their job to be done? That's the narrative. So that's the job of product marketing, coupled with content,
Yep.
coupled with enablement to ensure GTM efficiency.
I love it.
Do we need to eat another wing? I mean,
You have
I
the
think-
best. He has the best
Yeah.
acronym. Like every time he drops it, I'm like, I should just leave. Like,
Yeah.
like I got nothing else than
Yeah.
that. Like,
Well, you
what?
did have 4 buckets.
I did.
You know,
Yeah. I
that
had the
was pretty
buckets, but then he has an
impressive.
acronym. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, okay.
Did you all pre-call plan? 'Cause I don't think I was in on it. All right, here we go.
So in your experience dealing with lots of clients,
Yeah.
Morgan, what are you seeing as the roadblocks from either a content perspective or a GTM perspective, sales success perspective?
Yeah.
What are the roadblocks in GTM efficiency right now that you're coming across?
I think number one, and this is like going to sound so simple, but communication. You can't be efficient if you don't communicate with other people, right? So internally, right?
Yeah.
So you have marketing, sales is over here, products, I don't know, y'all are over there, right? And so it's like, wait, why are we not talking?
Yeah.
Right? And again, that sounds so simple, but it happens so often. So you can't be efficient if you don't have the right communication.
I love that. So the next one is SDR tiers, and I want to hear your roadblocks, but after you take one of these.
I have to take a tier? All right.
But tiers in an organization happen because you're right.
Yeah.
Lack of leadership, lack of communication. Too many people are acting in silo, marketing, enablement,
Right.
sales in silo, and this is causing GTM friction,
Right.
which is
GTM friction in the revenue engine.
GTM
Oh,
friction.
there we
Knock
go.
down those walls, baby.
Let's get it.
He said he didn't prep.
Yeah, hey, it's coming back.
I want to know your roadblocks, but first let's
We
get
gotta
into
go to
this
tiers.
SDR tiers.
The tiers.
Let's get into this
Eat
SDR
this
tiers.
all right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you want me to cry while I do
While
this? All right.
yeah.
You know, SDRs don't cry. That's why this is mild when it's Morgan and you and I.
What is impeding GTM efficiency?
The clients are smarter than a lot of us. I kind of touched on that earlier.
Yep.
So that's kind of point one. You're walking into, I'm already 3/4 of the way through the sales process and I see you to show up, right? So what's the additional issue that's kind of a subset of that, but I'll call it number two? How on earth do you provide value to that, especially if it's a CXO level? I think there's a statistic that Scott Santucci researched that it's about 11% of executives actually receive
Bring stats.
value.
Stats.
Bring
Hey,
stats.
you did earlier, so I thought I'd
Fire.
pull Santucci one out of my back
I did bring up some
pocket.
stats.
There you go. In fact, he was at Polaris when he did the research, but it was that 11% actually see value, that the salesperson can walk in my door, meet me where I am, tell me
Yeah.
something I don't know,
Right.
and walk alongside me into this thing and not tell me something that I could have either already looked up or read hey, I looked at a persona profile and I'm going to show up and act like you're the persona is a great place to start, but
Yeah.
you got to get to know that person.
Do the homework.
And their
Yeah.
time is so freaking
Because
valuable.
I feel like most people just only focus on persona, high level instead of the person, right? Like more attributes is what it sounds like.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's time for another shot. Ghosted pepper. Ghosted pepper. And sometimes our sales people feel like they're ghosted.
A lot.
They feel like they're ghosted.
Yeah.
Marketing's not talking to them. We're not. Enablement
Internally.
comes to them.
Internally, yeah.
Internally.
I don't see my voice or my DNA
internally
of any
ghosted.
Of this. Yeah.
Internally. Sorry, I should have clarified
True,
that.
it's true. It's
External,
true.
those poor bastards and BDRs, SDRs, they're getting ghosted a lot. But we're not going to touch on that just yet. I want to talk about the internal ghosting.
Okay.
That
Okay.
happens across these functions. Marketing, enablement, and sales.
Yeah.
Sales feels like they're ghosted. Get in there.
We're
get
getting
in
there.
there.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about, as you dive in there, just think about this. How can we ensure
Oh, God.
sales doesn't feel ghosted by marketing, doesn't feel ghosted by enablement, in hearing them, what they want? What's actually going to work on the
Love it.
front lines? Because too often marketing, enablement, they're working in their own little silo towers over here, creating in their labs,
Hey,
but the,
we're right here.
I'm marketing, I'm calling it out myself.
In the silo.
All right, okay.
Don't
Internally.
eat these wings at Ghost Pepper.
Yeah.
Yo, these get hot. These get hot. Okay. So I think the first step is you need to go talk to your manager and just say, hey, look, is there a way we can set up a weekly or bi-weekly cadence to start having conversations around what we are missing, right? And so this like creeps up on you as we talk, so hold on.
I'm glad you're talking right now. I'm going for the water.
I made a mistake. So
Oh, it's
I got
starting
it.
to
It's-
feel.
no, it's when you talk, it creeps
Feel
up. No,
the
this creeps up on you. So the managers need to have conversations proactively, right? Oh my gosh, proactively with their certain people that are the executives or whatever it be. Say, hey, what are we missing or what do we need to do? Because my team needs support. Plus, as well, one of the things that I did when I was an SDR leader is we took all the objections that we were facing and we took it to marketing and said, hey, can we create ebooks, right? Can we create, not white papers, I don't suggest that, but other things, like can we do a webinar series on this?
Yeah,
Clearly this is a huge thing.
I love that.
And a lot of people don't use
just to
front-
say,
yeah.
You were an SDR manager,
Yeah.
and you were going to marketing with here's what's working, here's what's not working, here are the topics that we keep
Exactly.
hearing about.
Yeah.
So you're co-creating this content with them, or at least the ideation of it.
Exactly.
Love it.
And so we would use it in our cadences. We would use it as part of our messaging and our cold calls or whatever it may be. And that was like really helpful because we were able to get webinar series and our follow-up was good because we already knew that was a problem. We were hearing it on the phone. So I think a lot of people don't use their frontline reps as conduits to create content.
Eric, so one thing sales will never say Enablement's doing to them is ghosting them, because you guys are always training them. Yet another training.
We're gonna fix it. Get back in the room,
30
Sonny.
more minutes.
My lady.
But it's not the issue of ghosting. It's the, I hear you're not listening to me. You're not enablement. I don't want more training. You need to listen to me.
Yeah.
And so how do we fix that relationship where it's not more,
Mm-hmm.
quality, relevance, contextual relevance, situational relevance? How are we fixing this?
Take the friction out of my environment, my sales system, so I can actually go sell a few things. Get me out of the virtual Zoom room or the room. First of all, flag on the play. This guy over here is playing the part of enablement. He's the leader of the SDR team and the voice of enablement. You are your own catalyst.
Yeah.
You knock down that wall on your own. My argument is that there should have been an enablement person already asking and setting up that kind of infrastructure for you to do exactly that.
Yeah.
So thank you, and that's the way it should look. That's what good looks like, right?
Yeah.
And so anytime I start any initiative, and by the way, we're talking about content today, but I'm talking platform. I rolled out Salesforce.com globally early in the early days, Sprint Nextel, when they emerged. One of the first thing we did was went to sales and meaning it was not sales enablement, I can't remember what we were called. I think opportunity development management. Woo, there's an old blast from the past. Okay, come on. I've been a little bit of everything. But I actually sat down with the field marketing team, with the customer-facing field marketing team, customer-facing AEs, customer-facing sales engineers, and got their feedback. What are the little screens you need to see to do your daily thing? So this isn't another thing you have to do. It's another thing that helps you do you, help you. That next value prop, it comes from being out on the front line, asking the right questions, being in those meetings, harvesting it, turning around, and this needs to be part of our one cross-functional voice to the customer.
Right.
Love it.
Right?
Love it.
I don't think we're
The
gonna love this.
lost lead. The lost lead. So, what is your
proverbial.
First of all, get in there, and as you're getting in there, we're
Look
gonna
at
cover
this
one
one's
last
like
question.
8 miles wide.
I'm Kate. Literally Kate.
What is
they're
your
having fun
one-
with us. We're the finale.
We're gonna leave with one final insight. One final insight for your content peeps and your enablement peeps
Love it.
on GTM efficiency. Looks like you're ready.
Oh my gosh.
Am I ready?
Yeah. I'm scared of this.
Your best content is gonna come from people that are your buyers.
Right.
And my not really even, it's actually a hot take because I'm actually burning up right now, but I might be on fire, so I might just combust after this. But overall, right, my take is include people in the conversation and don't be the leader in the conversation. Now that sounds controversial. You're like, what is that? What are you talking about? What I mean is, most people when they create content, they do it from a lens of, we are the leading provider of this product and we're great. Instead of finding other people who can advocate and you can include in the conversation to tell them you are great. You are the guide of the content. You don't need to lead the content.
Success begets success.
Yeah, exactly.
Hear from the people
Yeah.
that have been successful with you. That's gonna
Yeah.
get more success, meaning more leads in. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. What's your hot take recap for your enablement people?
4 words. Get in the trenches, people.
Yeah.
The trenches. Some people have to come out of the trench and go seek out the marketing, seek out the enablement, take out the middle man and woman. Always be thinking through the lines of how do I get out and walk alongside my customer-facing frontline, which again is expanding for many of you out there. Get out with CS, get out with marketing, get out with sales, get on the phones, walk alongside those folks, and harvest all of that. Make a commitment that you're going to do something with it, and then do it. The other trenches are internally. There's one right when you turn around, there's another moat, and it's to the entire C-suite. Work to gain the gravitas, build the confidence, put together that 5-minute thing, that metric you're paying attention to that's in alignment with the corporate objectives of that specific CXO. Impress them, get a seat at their table, and then get that unified voice. Orchestrate your cross-functional enablement business in a business.
And that's been Hot Intros presented by Commsor. Thank you, Morgan.
I'm dying.
I can't believe I got through all that without
Y'all
my
have
notes.
no idea.
Get in the trenches.
Oh, yeah.
4 buckets of content.
Yeah.
Yeah, at
And
least.
don't always just talk about yourself. Talk about your customer success. Lead with empathy from a content perspective and position your company to win. Who are you winning with? Who are you winning against? What's your impact? What's your narrative? Let's go.